Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. Excuse me. We have a question here from YouTube user Brian, who may have used his real name, so I'm not going to use his last name here because I don't want him to show up on Google for his employer. But Brian asked us, if my employer falsely accuses me of sexual harassment, can that false accusation be seen as sexual harassment against me by my employer? No. I mean, the simple answer to your question is no. Accusing someone of engaging in sexual harassment is not in and of itself sexual harassment. Now, however, let's add a little bit of complexity here. First and foremost, it is unlikely that your employer is the one accusing you of sexual harassment. A third party, a human being, generally, one would hope, is what we would call the accuser, right? There's a person who says that she or he was sexually harassed by you. Now, that person can be lying. That does happen. It's somewhat rare, but it does occur. If they're lying, you could talk to local counsel about things like slander, libel, and defamation claims. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. And these claims are different in different places, so talk with local counsel. Don't call us about these claims. Not into it. Not interested. But you can certainly talk to local counsel about it. Now, there's another layer of complexity here. There is a disturbing trend where you have a sexual harassment accusation, employers will not investigate. They will simply fire the person who's been accused. And often the reason they terminate that person is because that person happens to be male. Statistically speaking, the overwhelming majority of people who are accused of sexual harassment are male. Now, this is for the obvious reason that the overwhelming majority of people who engage in sexual harassment are also male. Don't get me wrong, there are certainly women who engage in sexually harassing behavior towards men and women. And that happens. And those cases are real, and they have merit, and there should be no double standard. There is. Judges and juries certainly have a double standard, but in terms of our work as plaintiff-side employment attorneys, I would say that we should not have a double standard, and we should do whatever we can to mitigate the double standard for our clients. And if we have a male client who's been sexually harassed, we should work hard to help them. But the fact remains, most perpetrators of sexual harassment are male. The problem is, many employers will say, well, this person over here is an attractive woman, and that guy over there is a middle-aged troll. And looking at her and looking at him, I can see it. I think Toddley probably did act the fool and engage in some sexual harassment of Tabitha. Toddley and Tabitha. Now, what you just heard was an employer engaging in potentially gender discrimination, right? How would that employer have avoided engaging in gender discrimination? That employer would have looked at Tabitha and Toddley, would have heard Tabitha out, and would have said, by Jove, we should investigate. Yeah, that's what they should do. They should investigate, right? You can't just say, Toddley's probably guilty, because Toddley's a man. That's a claim. You just handed Toddley a claim. The weird thing is, Toddley might have a claim even if Toddley is the bad guy. Because you didn't investigate, you assumed Toddley is guilty because Toddley is a man. Are those claims worth a lot of money? No. Do those claims exist? Yes. And they have merit. And in rare instances, they should be brought when they happen, right? Now, Brian, I add that little note here because I think you're falsely accused, right? We don't know you. We don't know you from Adam. There's no reason for you to come on this YouTube channel and say to us, I'm innocent. Because you don't know us, and you don't care about us, and you don't care what we think about you, presumably, right? So I'm going to assume, by your absolute lack of connection to us in any way, that you might actually be innocent. Or at least sincerely believe you're innocent, which is not the same thing, right? And if your employer did not investigate, it might be worth talking to local counsel about that claim for gender discrimination. That is one potential way to push back on a truly insincere, truly ridiculous sexual harassment complaint. And again, these are incredibly rare, but they do happen. Now, last bit of complexity here. And you wouldn't have thought a question that began with a simple answer of no would go 8 minutes. But it will, because YouTube has been very clear that I should go at least 8 minutes on my videos. Actually, no. I think this complexity also has merit. At one point leading up to now, I mentioned that you may sincerely believe you are innocent of sexual harassment. Get ready, by the way, Brian, to hate me. Many people who can go and pass a lie detector test. And again, yes, we all know lie detectors are nonsense. There's almost no scientific basis. They're junk. And I roll my eyes the minute somebody says the word lie detector. And we based our criminal justice system on them to some extent for a very long period of time. But I digress. Many people who could go and sincerely pass a lie detector test and say, I did not engage in sexual harassing that person. I never sexually harassed that person. And the lie detector would say, it's true. This person is speaking the truth. Even better, we'll go with something slightly, maybe more real. I don't know. I think hypnosis, they could be hypnotized to only tell the truth. And they might, under the depths of trance, say, I never once sexually harassed that person. And they would mean it. However, this hypothetical version of Toddley, who can pass all the truth tests we can possibly devise for him, and can truthfully and sincerely say in his heart of hearts that he did not sexually harass Tabitha, well, let's say he, I don't know, I'll give one that I see a lot, decided to give Tabitha a back rub in the break room. I think everybody here on this channel can hear that hypothetical and say, ugh, that's sexual harassment. Why are you touchy-touchy? No touchy-touchy. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But bizarrely enough, there are many human beings who would say, no, I just gave a back rub. That's what I do. I'm a touchy person. That's not how this works. That's sexual harassment. You don't believe it's sexual harassment, but the person who received it does sincerely believe it's sexual harassment. So, it is possible to, in your heart of hearts, truly, sincerely believe that you are innocent of sexually harassing someone. But it doesn't mean you are innocent. Right? I'll give you another example. Had to deal with this somewhat recently. Changing all the identifying characteristics. Gentleman goes in the office, and they're having a conversation about, I don't know, famous people. Well, pop stars, singers, right? Female singers. And somehow they get on the topic of which female pop stars are most attractive. And people are going back and forth, and people are talking. And is that an appropriate topic of conversation for the break room at work? Yeah. Don't engage in that. Especially if you're a dude, don't engage in that. Let me assure you. This is not a good idea for the longevity of your employment. And they're talking, and they get on Taylor Swift, who's a hot button topic these days. I think she's a billionaire now. And a hypothetical fella, Toddley, goes, nah, Taylor Swift doesn't do it for me. That lady is just not my physical type. I was going to say some stuff that he would actually say, but why tempt YouTube to smash me with their demonetization? I'm not attracted. Taylor Swift doesn't do it for me. I'm not attracted. And somebody's like, oh, come on, Toddley. So Tabitha in the break room. Tabitha's like, Toddley, come on. If Taylor Swift wanted to go on a date with you, you would in seconds. If Taylor Swift wanted to sleep with you, you would be on your back so fast, it wouldn't. You give yourself a concussion hitting the floor so hard. And Toddley responds, no, I would never. She just does nothing for me. Tabitha, I'd rather sleep with you than Taylor Swift. And I'm not coming on to you, Tabitha. I'm just telling you that you, right here, right now, are more attractive to me than Taylor Swift. All of us. I think everyone watching this video is like, oh, God, Toddley. That's not great. That's bad. That's you now objectified and discuss the idea of yourself. I mean, frankly, let's be frank. You discussed the idea of you penetrating Tabitha. You brought it up in the workplace. And you can be like, no, that's not what he said. But it is. That's fundamentally, if you get down to brass tacks, that's what he said. He's talking about banging Tabitha. You can try to paint it any way you want. But he just brought up the idea of intercourse with Tabitha in the workplace. I would rather sleep with Tabitha, and I'm not trying to sleep with you, Tabitha, but I'd rather sleep with you than Taylor Swift. Cool. So now you've thought and given voice to the idea of you having intercourse with Tabitha. Guess what? You're guilty. You committed sexual harassment. Do you know that you did? You might not. And I know there's people out there right now who are like, Vince, no, those guys know. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I don't think, like, as a guy, let me tell you, there's a lot of guys who don't know. No, it's innocent. Come on. It was a hypothetical. They don't know. They should know. They need to be held accountable even though they don't know. They should think about it. They should take classes. There's a lot of things they could do to know. It doesn't let them off the hook. I'm not like, Tyler didn't know, so you don't want to hold him accountable. What I'm saying is, Toddley's going to have to be held accountable. Toddley can't get away with that shit. But Toddley may, in his heart of hearts, feel that Toddley did not engage in sexual harassment. Believe it or not. And so, Brian, I'm not saying that's you. I don't know anything about your situation, and you're very adamant it's completely false, and I believe you. I believe you, sincerely. Because, again, you don't know us from Adam, and I don't see why you'd bother coming here to defend yourself, because you don't care about us. You don't care what we think, right? We didn't even know that you've been accused of sexual harassment, so why would you bother to defend yourself to us, right? And also, Brian, gotta be honest, you may want to change your username for that post, right? Because, I don't want people Googling you and finding out more about this or contacting your workplace or anything like that. So anyways, that's a pretty long answer. It's a 13-minute answer. Trying to address your question, Brian. Probably alienated some of my viewers in the process, but we had to answer the question truthfully and accurately, and that's the job here. And Brian needed some help, so we helped. Even though, Brian, you may not like my answer. You may yourself feel alienated by the answer, but I tried to give you everything I could, all the complexity, all the things to think about that I would think about in the situation if I had to deal with this problem. If it was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below. If it was not, I'm okay with the thumbs down. Give me the thumbs down. Give me the thumbs down. I want it. I want the thumbs down. But if it was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below, share our channel so it will grow. And take care, everyone. Bye.